A surprise Tuesday
It's
show.
Tuesday. It's the Blue Plate Special. That's what we used to call my dad's oldie station. Clue 103. That's actually what it says behind this Be Our Guest thing. The
Oh,
flag
seriously?
was 103.3. And yeah, he was the PD for a while, the program director, but he was on air for a while too. And he did the Blue Plate Special. Call in with your requests. 10969 KLOU.
The Blue Plate Special is like meatloaf with mashed potatoes, or like I don't know, I can't think of something else. Tuna, like a tuna melt.
Right. That sounds good to me. See, I'm getting old because that sounds like the jam. Like
I actually love tuna melts. Are you kidding me? They're
Oh,
awesome.
me too. Totally. Now, did you? Let me ask you this: you guys had Kmart's, right, in Pennsylvania?
We did.
So, did you ever eat at a K Cafe, like
No,
like the little restaurant? Did you ever
no.
at your Kmart?
I don't remember there being this. I mean, I think there must have been,
Yeah,
but
because I ate there with my great grandparents all the time. There was like a little. It was called. I think it was called the K Cafe, and it was like a little cafeteria. It didn't have anything fancy like burgers, hot dogs, some sides, fries, like mac and cheese. But yeah, I just remember it had a distinct smell. I mean, I'm 47 and I still remember because I was probably like 8. But I remember the smell of the K Cafe.
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, I
And
don't ever remember.
Just as that Little Caesars, they did after the K Cafes got taken out, they put in Little Caesars. But when I was a little kid, under 10 probably, they had K Cafes, and it was like I mean, again, we were pretty poor growing up, so like going to the K Cafe was kind of a big deal. And like looking back, like, dude, that was a big deal. It was fun.
K Cafe.
Hang on.
I was trying to explain to Hannah the allure of the root beer float. Like when I was a kid, you felt like you were in heaven when you got a root beer float, right? And Hannah's like, "No, I don't like them." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Oh
Like,
my
nope.
gosh. So the K Cafe, if I Google K Cafe, all I'm seeing is Keurigs. There's a Keurig called let me do Kmart. Or they'll start Kmart. I hate when this stuff happens. Go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, here it is. Dude, that's exactly what it looked like. Okay, hang on.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Let me share my screen here.
We should do this like once a week. Come on and have lunch and talk about
Totally. This would be so fun. Hang on, share. Yeah, I gotta make the screen bigger.
Oh my gosh, Jeff, Hills. Yes, we had a Hills.
I hear this podcast I listen to, they talk about Hills all the time. And I'm like, Hills? We didn't have a Hills. It is an East Coast thing. Hang on, why can't I show this? Okay.
Oh my gosh. Don said he worked in the shoe department at a Kmart. Remember when like places used to have a shoe department and there would be someone there who could help you?
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Hang on. Screen 1, share. Let me pop it up. Show and stream. And here I'm go full size. Look at all this. This is the K Cafe. Look.
I can't see it.
Hang on. I'll try to find a good picture of one.
It's like just the background right now.
Oh, you can't. Hang on.
Yeah, you gotta share your screen somehow.
You don't wait. Hang on. Let's see. I gotta pull Bob's. How do I get that? Stop sharing. Oh wait.
There's all my husband trophies.
So wait. Okay, hang on. Share screen. I do this on Sunday nights. Share. Show and stream. You don't see it now?
I just see the background.
Huh. Oh, somebody said they can smell the Venture popcorn. Yes. Did you guys have Ventures? It was like a Kmart.
No, we didn't have Ventures at all.
Oh yeah, and they had a distinct smell because of the popcorn when you went in. Yeah. Oh man, you can't see the K. Just anyway, Google K Cafe, do Kmart Cafe, but yeah, it was just it was right in the middle of the restaurant or the store.
Wow.
Stop sharing.
I think that our childhoods were very different than the childhoods now.
They were in at our shopping mall. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have food courts. Like you just had like an A&W, just like at a like where you'd find a store, and then like you might go down and have a Hot Sam, like
right
a place. You didn't have
Hot Sam had the best pretzels. Let's just be honest.
Pizza pretzels, but I always got dip it in pizza sauce. Oh man, it was right next to Tape World.
That's funny. Tape World.
Yeah, I know. Well, then there was Camelot music too.
Oh, okay. I'm like, do you mean like
Jennifer,
Scotch
yeah,
tape.
her her Cabbage Patch Kid adventure. My
Oh my gosh.
mom got in a fight with somebody at Target for a garbage or for a Cabbage Patch Kid when I was real little for my sister. Dude, that was a free for all. That was like crazy that night. I was little. I was like,
My mom waited in line for a long time for a Cabbage Patch Kid for us.
oh man, yes,
Oh, blue light special. Yep. Blue light special.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
So we could have a blue plate special and a blue light special.
Oh man, yeah. This is
So today we're just going to answer questions. So
about where you used to shop when you were a kid. Service merchandise too is my jam. I love
service merchandise. I swear to God, this is so funny. Steve, when he went to college, when he went to Pitt, his mom bought him like a little dorm size fridge, right?
Yeah.
That fridge still exists today and is in his office at the hospital, like in working order.
Oh no, I have one behind me that was Pam's sister's from college, and
Yeah.
she's in her mid 40s, and it's still. I mean, it's right there behind me. It's got sodas in it.
Yeah, and it came from service.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where I got all my Commodore 64 stuff.
If only we could shop at service now and things could last for 20 some years.
For real, yeah. I just loved how, they had pretty much everything, and then you would, because it was a department store, but you get the little ticket. And then you go to the back and like you just wait patiently for your item to come down the conveyor belt. You're like, I love service merchandise. We had dolls.
Dawn, I like how you say the Facebook. It's the face tube.
The face tube. All right, hey, did you turn up your gain again?
I did not.
And you screw your mic back.
It's totally down the whole way.
That's better. It was up.
Well, because I turned it around. I turned the microphone around. I got a new microphone recently, and we've been trying. It's a great mic, and we've been trying to make it not so great.
It's too good. It picks up everything. I've been losing sleep over this mic. Dolgens, yes. Amy, stop. Amy's in St. Louis, so she knows. Dolgens was just like service merchandise, and then it turned into a store called Best. And you had, God, that was out at St. Charles Rock Road in 270. Oh God, she's bringing up all kinds of. There's a catalog store. It was so.
Oh my gosh, Bob said he got his first wedding rings at Service Merchandise.
That makes sense. I mean, that was a jewelry store.
He said you have a first ring when it gets lost in blowing leaves. Yeah, Steve lost his first wedding band in the Mexico.
In like for real Mexico or Mexico at Epcot?
For real Mexico. He was snorkeling and came back, no more ring.
Yeah, Scott lost his, I think he said, on his honeymoon, like immediately.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Like right away.
Like 2 or 3 of them. Like he's got a Mickey one now, like a Disney one. And this one, by the way, Pam put it on me at our wedding, and it has not been off since.
Are you serious?
For the record, this thing has been on 14 years and almost 15. It'll be 15 in June, and I've never taken it off. Ever.
Yeah, I take mine off all the time. And I don't even wear my engagement ring anymore because like I garden and stuff like that. And it was just always getting dirty. And so in the end, I was just like, we all know what has happened here. Like, I don't need the ring anymore. So, but Steve bought me a nice one. He bought me like an eternity band. So I just wear that one all the time. But I wear it sometimes apparently because it's not on now.
Service Merchandise was the place to get the wedding bands. Andrew got hers there too.
You could buy everything at Service Merchandise.
I got the Commodore discs. I got everything. Yeah.
Where they had refrigerators, they had appliances, they had jewelry, they had small appliances, like home things.
They had a lot of like they were pretty cutting edge on like home computers in the time. Yeah, I used to love that store. God, the catalog was great. Anyway,
that's what I was going to say. The catalog. Remember when you got the catalog, you looked through it, then you had to call to order things. Like, yes, I would like 2 of item 179352, and stuff like that.
Right. And we promise we're going to do the podcast because I got a gajillion things I need to be doing, and we're sitting here talking about this because it's way more fun. But because grandma had 4 grandkids, and so like. Right around, after Halloween, maybe before Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving, though, she bust out the Sears catalog, and we all 4 got a different colored like highlighter. And so you could do the catalog and like highlight. She'd say like highlight 5 things that you might want for Christmas.
I know. I loved that. When the Sears catalog came and the JCPenney's catalog came.
Yeah, pennies. Yeah, pennies too. Yep. Oh man.
Those were the days, man. You would just lay on the floor and look through the catalog, then look through it again.
And just think, like, right now, if I wanted something, I just go to Amazon and click on it and do that thing. 50/50 will be here tomorrow still. Like, it's great.
I know.
And I'm still nostalgic for something that had like a 4-week delivery. Or I mean, you had to go out and like Service Merchandise, you had to go to the store, you had to get a little coupon. I remember though, at Service, didn't they have little computers you could type in your order and then it would go automatically I'm pretty sure they did. You would key in like your order details and then it would get sent to the back and it would come down the conveyor belt.
And pick it up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. God, I love that. Anyway,
the things that our kids will never know.
This would have been a podcast right here. I should have just saved this.
You should have recorded.
I did. I did record it.
Oh, there you go. See?
I'll just delete it. Right. Okay, so
oh my gosh. We need to do a nostalgic podcast about.
That's what Mike in the Midwest is. I did one on the Sears book.
All right. Well, have me on one time and we'll do a good one on something.
Totally. Yeah. Scott and I are going to do one where we just play 80s trivia against each other coming up. Maybe tomorrow.
Hello. When there's music trivia, you know who the winner is, right?
Well, I don't know. As a DJ.
I know, but we won. Well, we were on the same team, I think.
We were on the thing. Was that the one in O'Gill's on the ship?
Yes.
I still never forget that night that Scott, all of us were skunked from that tequila tasting. We're like, dude, just go in O'Gill's. They'll never find us. We walked in there and you guys are sitting in there. We're like, don't make eye contact. Just walk back out to deck 4.
I like how everyone y'all thought you were like in trouble though or something.
Well, Pam was kind of mad. You were because we were a little rowdy.
I was mad when you started offering 50% on board credit.
I had to get my bookings up. I'm like,
to
hey,
random people.
No, I'm a travel agent. Let me hook you up with your next
yes.
After that, we got shut down. They're like, no more tequila for that guy.
No, I was like, well, we really can't afford to give 50% of your cruise costs back to you.
I think Paige ratted me out. I can't remember who did it, but anyway. Okay,
I know.
How about some questions? Okay, here we go. So, everybody, just so you know, this is the Cinco de Mayo special. We're recording early because I'm leaving on Thursday.
Yep.
And then we're tagging off to you, right? You get in the day I leave. You come in on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I'll be at Universal first for that part of it, and then I get in on that day. So yeah, so our whole team is going to be down. Well, I mean, a lot of our team. I won't say our whole team, but yeah, we're going to be down, checking it all out, doing all that stuff. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good trip. Our team has been down so much since it reopened. I think that you can tell how much we all want to go back. I think I've been back like 10 times since they reopened. So.
I'm already looking forward to July, and I haven't even gone yet. So, like in April. So, because this weekend I know I'll go fast because it's
this time of year.
Like
I'm just so grateful for everyone who's traveling again. I mean, it's awesome. Just really, really good. I think the travel agent has demonstrated their worth this year. On hold times alone, what we have saved people. That should be the running counter on our homepage. We've saved our guests this many hours on the phone.
Just today on Adventures by Disney. Oh, I was just like,
I know.
Yesterday I had it on Skype and on my phone, and the World Showcase loop was on 2 different spots. And it was driving me insane because I know that loop so well from Magical Mouse Radio. And it's just like, but I was trying to do work with both of them playing. Oh my God, I was losing it. Finally, I just had because I couldn't take it. Okay, so so back up. The mic's a little hot again. That's still bothering me.
I don't know how to change it. Like the gain's the whole way down.
You just don't get on top of it.
It's an arm's length away. Look.
I think it picks up everything, man. I think it's smoking like sensitive. Okay, we're good.
All right. I'll try not to be happy or excited.
No, you can be happy or excited.
I will do the podcast in a very monotone.
Welcome to the Beergus, but good.
I moved back a little bit, so maybe that'll help.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're 1895. And then tonight, by the way, if you want another bonus podcast, at some point tonight, I'm recording with Ricky. Just Ricky and I. We're going to talk about the best flowers because Ricky and I are both from Florissant, which in French means the Valley of Flowers. And the first full weekend of May is our Valley of Flowers festival,
La Floraison.
which isn't happening this year because of COVID. But I was trying to stretch. I was trying to come up with something creative, and that's what I came up with. So
I think it's interesting the things that are and are not happening because of COVID. In our area, someone has speculated about kids going back to school without masks at some point.
I can see that happening here because there's like our Mexican restaurant doesn't even need you don't have to wear masks anymore inside.
Wow.
I mean, we've never had a mask mandate here, so it's pretty much like on your whatever you want to do. So that sounds fine in the bill. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Emails are stacking up. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya's one of my guests, by the way, over at the Magic for. I actually have a lot of guests here in the chat, and thank you to everybody. But Tanya's awesome. She's down in Tennessee. She's always.
I like her picture. Like it looks all professional.
I'm saying, she makes me look like a slob here.
Right?
I put on this shirt because Wainwright pitched a good game last night. This is his shirt, so be careful, people.
I need to update the my picture on some of my social media profiles.
I need to update the picture on the Magic for Less site. That's from like 12 years ago and like horrible shot. It's like me standing like I just got out of the water at Castaway Key. I think that's the one that's still on there. It's terrible. Oh, I gotta, because I think it's with me with the family. One of the podcast cruises. By the way, because it's like, I gotta check. Update my bio too, because I don't think I'd run a dopey at that time. Anyway, because if you're on a dopey, you got to brag about it, right? You gotta be like, I've run.
Yes, I think.
And that's why you do it. That's why you do it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh my gosh, what did I say? 1895. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1895 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. And for a few more hours, still a resident of Lake Buena Vista down at Walt Disney World, having a good time checking out of Coronado Springs today. We're recording this one a bit early, but I hope that we had a great time. Possibly brought home some hardware on the airplane here this evening. We'll see, because we were down there for the Summit Cheerleading Championships with Platinum Athletics out of Maryland Heights, Missouri, and I hope they had a great showing down there. But of course, when we go on vacations, we don't take a break. We don't say, oh, we're going on vacation, we're not going to do a podcast. No way. I'm too obsessive like that. We're going to have something on the feed for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and most Thursdays for the live shows. We're gonna have a good time today answering your listener questions. So joining me, I'm gonna be passing the torch to Pam Porcher, the Magic for Less Travel. She's headed down to Central Florida today. What's going on, Pam?
It's true. We are spending some time, our team's spending some time in both Universal and Walt Disney World, doing a little trip with the team. Gonna just get some education, some experience, spend some time together. And it's, it feels great to be traveling again. I'm just going to say that. It feels really good to travel again. And especially when those two, I think both Universal theme parks and Walt Disney World theme parks have done such a great job with their health and safety protocols that once you make the transition, you still get to get a little piece of that magic there. And that's what feels so good. So looking forward to that.
So I told this to my wife, right? Because I've had my shot. I got my talk about it, living on the edge, right? I got the Johnson & Johnson shot like 2 days before everything broke on that one. It wasn't me that was worried. It was my wife, because we got it at the same time. And I was like, you know what? Hey, what are we going to do? Like, they put it in us on a Saturday. They came out with all the news on a Monday, but we're well past 2 weeks out. So I told Pam, I'm like, hey, let's take this thing for a ride. Like you get a riding lawnmower, you're going to drive it, right? You get a Harley,
yes.
Around the neighborhood. Let's go.
You got, yeah.
Cautions, but get out there and still, just because the thing I know people have different perspectives on this, and I respect everybody's, but I'm kind of the mindset that I just don't want to waste days. I'm 47, I feel like, this last year was taken away from me. I want to cautiously, but, still get out there and be able to see the world and do the things I love. So I'm excited that we are moving in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. I think, travel is so much more than the destinations that you're going to. Of course, that makes a difference, but It's really about the experiences that you have and the people that you get to have those experiences with. And in addition, we all know that there are certain things that only happen when you're on vacation with your family. Like day to day, of course, you see them, you're living your lives, you're having a great life, all that stuff. But there's something about vacations that bring out these feelings and experiences and just memories that you can only create there. There's something about vacation memories. When you look back in your childhood, I bet like you don't remember day to day a ton, but you probably remember a lot of your vacations. And there's sort of a reason for that. Like we need a little inside out character that is only vacation memories, right? Instead of like anger and all of that stuff. So, anyways, it's important. Those are your core memories. I guess they would sort of fit into their things that really are meaningful too. So,
Got to get out there and make memories. That's what life's all about. That's totally it. Okay, so we're going to hop in and answer some questions. If you have questions, everybody that's tuned in live here on Facebook and YouTube, drop those in the chat and we'll get to those as well. But remember, we're recording this one a bit early, so let's make sure we can make this all make sense. All right, Kevin's got a question in the inbox. He says, hey, Mike and BOGP crew, we have a stay at the Contemporary in February of 2022. Can we use the Bay Lake Tower pools while staying there since the properties seem to be linked? Thanks, guys. Love the show, Kevin. So how does that work when you have like the Contemporary and Bay Lake Tower? I don't even know the answer to that one, to be honest.
It actually, you can't actually. The Bay Lake Tower pool is one of the few pools on Disney property that in a situation like that is available just for the folks staying at Bay Lake Tower. So, and what's more interesting is the folks at Bay Lake Tower can come over and use the Contemporary pool, but the folks at the Contemporary can't use the Bay Lake Tower pool. So that's the official word on that. In most cases, though, that's not the case. Like if you're at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can stay at either Jumbo House or Kidani. And if you're staying at Jumbo House, you're welcome to use the pool at Kidani. And if you're staying at Kidani, you're welcome to use the pool at Jumbo House. I'm not quite sure the thinking behind the Bay Lake Tower pool rule, except that it is sort of a smaller pool area. And that's probably why they wanted to make that for the exclusive use. I can't wait, though, until Riverside opens up, right? Because those are the sister resorts that so many guests really appreciate in the moderate category. And you can, again, use the pool at either one for that. So when you're staying at the Yacht and Beach Club, of course, you can use not only Stormalong Bay, but there's quiet pools at both the Yacht Club and the Beach Club. Guests of either resort are free to use those. And the Boardwalk Inn and Villas, again, the same thing. There's the main, no longer creepy clown pool.
Hey, the Keister Coaster now. You got the
Keister Coaster.
Keister.
That's right. And then there's also two quiet pools. And whether you're staying at the inn or the villas, you're permitted to use both pools. So it's really quite a unique situation there with Bay Lake Tower. But yes, that's the deal.
Okay, you brought up the Riverside Resort. So let me ask you this, because over the past couple of weeks, I've seen this floated online. And of course, there's no official word on this, but it's interesting to talk about. I like that Disney has offered their cast members, furloughed and active cast members, one free night at a Walt Disney World resort. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something. I mean, and it'll be appreciated because, hey, it's a free night at a hotel. It's a lot of fun. Now, do you think that they might be using those free nights? Because I did see that they're assigning cast members to hotels. I thought I saw that a couple days ago. Do you think they might assign those cast members to places like the Port Orleans resorts or maybe Animal Kingdom Lodge to kind of start to get things back up? I mean, I don't know if like that would be needed, but maybe it would be good to have somebody kind of get back in there, knock off the cobwebs and before they open the resorts.
Huh, that's interesting to think about. Yeah, I know that Disney does often, when a resort is about to open, there are cast members who do get a stay there at those resorts. And it's really important, I think, in the opening of a resort to have people in there and test your staff, right? To see what's working, what's not. And Disney is such a great job, does such a great job. Their whole company really learns from the feedback that they receive. They seek it out, right? If you've ever been a guest there, chances are you've gotten a survey or you've been surveyed when you'd enter the park or things like that. So Disney does such a great job with that. I would imagine that they would do that, but I haven't heard about anyone even being at Port Orleans yet. I know that we're all waiting for that. I think that they have Coronado and Caribbean Beach open for the obvious reasons, right? Caribbean Beach on the Skyliner, they don't want to waste that opportunity because the Skyliner's already running, right? And Coronado, just because it had Grand Destino, had that great big opening. I think that it has so many rooms and is just, really appealing to a lot of guests. But I know that so many people love Riverside. I can't wait until that's open for them.
I miss my Sassagoula River. God, seriously, I mean, that I've thought about that. Like, because, obviously I was down there this past week, and just to take a boat from Disney Springs down to Riverside is one of my favorite things, going past the tree houses, and so fun. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll be back soon. All right. Tanya's got a question here in the live chat. It says, finally getting the girls trip with my mom and daughters in for the 50th anniversary. We arrive on September 30th and do not want to go to a park that day. What are your favorite resorts to tour and have a great meal at? I was thinking Wilderness, since they haven't been there yet. Tanya, you are thinking correctly. Yes, because, with Wilderness, that's a great idea, because you could either eat at Geyser Point. That's a great place, especially if the weather's nice. I mean, it's hard to beat Geyser Point. Then you have the lodge. Of course, you can go around and look at like Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek, the whole complex. You can check out the cab, just walk through all that area. But also inside the lodge itself, you have the grand lobby. You have Whispering Canyon for an option to eat if you want to eat there. Territory Lounge, is that open now? But I mean, it could be by the 50th.
It is open now.
There you go. So, and the thing is, with Wilderness Lodge, you think about proximity, right? In Disney transportation. So if you're at Wilderness Lodge, you could very easily take a boat either to the Magic Kingdom or take a boat to the Contemporary and get around to see if you just want to, go through and check out the Grand. Check out the Poly, because it'll be back open at that point. The Contemporary, get a snack. I mean, the Contemporary has, good snacks like Contempo Cafe. Even in the little gift shop, they have some snacks. You could go over to the Polynesian and get maybe a Dole Whip to go, or it's just the Wilderness Lodge opens up the entire monorail loop with just one boat ride. So I think that is a great call. So what else do you think of, Pam?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I mean, it's just an awesome thing. But the other thing you can do is also the resorts over in the Epcot area. Hit the boardwalk. Just walking through the boardwalk, I think, is really interesting. That lobby is really cool. Then you can also visit Yacht and Beach Club, because they're right there as well. You could then, from that, it could be a jumping off point to take the Skyliner over to the Riviera or Caribbean Beach. So you can do a whole kind of loop on those things. And touring the resorts is absolutely one of my favorite things to do. There's something about all the Disney resorts, right? They're so themed. They're sort of unique to Disney. And each of them has sort of a different kind of shopping experience, a different kind of dining experience. It's really worth checking out. For me, the Disney resort is, of course, very important to our vacation.
It's gotten more and more important the more I've gone, right? I mean, the first couple trips, I could care less about the hotel's place to sleep. It was all about the parks. And the more I've been able to go, the more, and you know what? Touring resorts too also kind of set you up for your next trip. Because say you go through the Wilderness Lodge, you've never been there, you're like, I gotta get a piece of this, man. I'm gonna at least do a split and stay here next time.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the Wilderness Lodge and the Animal Kingdom Lodge are always going to be the most spectacular in terms of just walking into the lobby and seeing those lobbies. They're just fantastic and just really sort of take you to another place. So you can't go wrong, but touring resorts is absolutely a good recreation activity there in the resort.
All right. Lisa's got a question here in the live chat. She says, I have a question about the Disney Visa. And I'm not going to do it here on the show because I will freak you out, but I can look into your eyes and tell you the first 8 digits of your card if you have a Disney Visa. Well, I can at least tell you the first 7. And possibly if you're like super old school, I can tell you what that is too. If I know you've had it forever and ever, and you've never got your card compromised, 10. But if you've had your card compromised like 98% of the world at this point, 20. Just saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to freak you out by doing it, because you'd be like, whoa, that's what we do.
You do need to do the.
Yes. Little Karnak. Yeah, exactly. 466. Okay. Anyway, there you go. I get the first 4. So she's asking, do we get rewards if we use it to pay for our vacation? Now, again, I don't work for Disney Visa. You can go to their website. It tells you all the details, because these things are fluid. But I will tell you, because I am a Disney Visa card holder since day one, I think it says on it. I'm not going to show it because you guys will charge stuff to my cart. No, you wouldn't. You guys are nice. Some hacker would. But There's 2 Disney Visa cards. There's a free one and there's one, it's like the platinum or the premium or something. If you got to pay like $99 a month for it or a year, not a month. That'd be
Right.
crazy.
Right.
There is an annual fee. But with the one with the annual fee, if you are a Disney fan and say you go on like a Disney cruise every couple of years, you go to Walt Disney World a couple times a year, you're coming out way ahead because you get a lot more rewards points for Disney vacation purchases with that card. You get accelerated the rewards points for things like even just like groceries and gas and basic things. But you also Disney purchases, you get like 2 or 3 times more points, which accrue, and it definitely cancels out that $99 fee. So you also get the 6 months 0% financing. Now you got to be careful. I will say it's tricky how you pay your bill with that. So you got to really, because I got burned on that the first time because I didn't know how it worked. It shows it in the statement at the top. Like it'll say this amount of your balance has 0% interest until, and it gives a date 6 months later. But I thought that was the last like chunk that I would pay. That's not how it works. I ended up calling being like, okay, look, how can I do this? So I only pay like a sixth of it for the next 6 months until it's paid off with no interest. And they kind of walked me through that. But you do get the 6 months, 0% financing with Walt Disney World vacation packages, cruises, stuff like that. But you do get rewards. So Pam, I mean, anything else to throw in with Disney Visa?
No, that's it. I mean, you do, and you get them as long as you're booking. Like even if you book through the travel agency, you're still going to get the points. You'll still get the benefit of the 6 months 0% interest. But Mike's right. You do have to talk with them a little bit about that because you can end up not paying. It's crazy if you already have a balance and you're adding to it, that kind of thing. So just take that into consideration. So, but I definitely think it's worth it for people who really travel a lot to Disney. I know that at different times they'll give you extra bonus points on like say groceries or other things like that. So make sure you check that out. I mean, credit card rewards, if you can play that game and you don't carry a balance, you can really, earn some things for sure. So Disney fan, what's better than having money to pay on your Disney vacation?
Right. I mean, that's the thing is that I never carry a balance. Like I pay it off every month.
Right.
I mean, like when I was a kid, I was one of those, I grew up in a household where like my parents didn't believe in credit cards, which was fine. Right. I mean, that's just what they believed in. But I remember, again, this was like our pre-show. We talked about Kmart and the K Cafe and Venture Indulgence and service merchandise. When the first movie rental stores came out, kids, yes, you used to have to go to a store to get a movie in a box to play in a VCR. And this was the greatest thing. It was the first Netflix.
Oh,
So
100%.
it was called Movies to Go. Came to Florissant. We go up there because my dad he was like a tech guy like me, he liked all the gadgets. So we got a VCR, probably paid $1,000 for it back then. He even had the camera, right? The one that went on your shoulder. Like you
Oh, yeah.
hook the VCR up, you hung it over.
It was like you were holding a small child all day.
It was like you were, like a news crew, like going around with this thing. Anyway, Movies to Go comes to Florissant. We go up there, we're going to rent a movie, right? We're going to get a movie for our VCR.
Yeah.
You had to have a credit card. Like they wouldn't rent it to you unless you had a credit card on.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, like they loosened up on that. But yeah, that's kind of where I come from. So like I don't carry a balance because I don't want to pay interest. And
Yeah.
so I use it for everything. I use it for groceries, I use it for gas, I use it for Taco Bell. Imagine how much I got if Taco Bell was double points, I'd be like a millionaire. But I mean, honestly, by the end of the year, because I only use them like once a year, like it pays for my annual pass.
That's awesome.
I mean, for nothing. So
I know we use our Southwest card all the time. Like that's what we use every time. So we do like we charge everything and we pay it. Steve pays it off a couple times a month because he doesn't like, seeing it on there even. So I know, right? So funny. But it really is a convenience. And the reason why you had to have a credit card to rent a movie back then is because movies literally cost like $80.
Right. Yeah, totally.
It was like renting a car. Like they needed the credit check to like, give you this movie. And if you lost it, God forbid. So anyways.
Yeah, those are the days though. It goes so good walking through a video store with just like all the movies on all.
Right.
It was like Candyland or something. It was crazy. Like,
I know. I remember like Blockbuster had like a promotion or something where you, for a certain period of time, you got to rent as many movies as you'd like, or 5 movies a month or something, for this one set price. And I remember at one point, this is sort of like when we were in college or something, just being like, dang, I think I've seen all the good movies. Like like you would just walk through.
The original binge is what that was. Okay. Dan's got a good question here, or Don, sorry. And this is Corwin of Amber, who's usually in YouTube, but he's on Facebook
YouTube.
today, so he's throwing us all off. But he says, is it worth taking time out of our Magic Kingdom day to do a sit-down meal at the Polynesian? And let me just say, I think we're both going to agree yes, right? On this one.
Yes, we are.
But I think it becomes
those are the kind of people we are.
It becomes more important, and it's more easy to do now, because the Magic Kingdom, when it first opened in August, it was super short hours. I remember the night we were there, closed at 6.
Right.
It was rough. Now it's open usually till 9 or 10. That's just too much time. I mean, it's opening like at 8 or 9 in the morning. You need, not only is it worth it, it is important to do something like this. I mean, sit down at a meal in the Magic Kingdom, but I like to get all the way outside the park, go over to have a meal at Kona, sit down, relax. I mean, Pam, we do this all the time. I mean, just to get out of the Magic Kingdom is great, but it is overstimulating for 12 hours at a time.
I know. I often said, even when Hannah was little, and so we were planning on spending a ton of time in the Magic Kingdom, right? That we would schedule a sit down meal somewhere just to be able to sit down and have someone like bring me an iced tea, and like you feel like you can breathe for a second, and you get to focus on just sort of hanging out, which is something like you don't get to do a lot of at the Magic Kingdom when you're there. And it just gives you a breather. And the other thing is, by scheduling it sort of in that middle or later, like I'd say like around 1:00 is like such a great time, because earlier than that, you're going to benefit from not as many people getting there. And then that big chunk in the middle, that's when the later people like Ricky show up. The early people that got there earlier are still there. So that's sort of the busiest time. So you get to avoid that by heading out, going, having a relaxing meal, and then coming back later in the evening when, again, people are leaving, people with young kids who have been there since 8:00. Kids are crying, strollers are running into people. It's a bad scene, right? Some of those people look rough coming out of the Magic Kingdom toward the end of the day. You're coming back during that time, and again, you'll be rewarded with sort of lower lines and things like that. And hopefully at some point, crossing our fingers for some kind of nighttime show, right? So totally worth it to do that.
It's got to be happening. I'm telling you. Somebody's got to make Harmonious happen before October 1st so that I can flex on Ricky and Alfred, who keep telling me it's not going to happen.
What date did I say? I said like October 2nd.
Yeah, exactly. You $1 is when the price is right. Totally. Let's see. So John gave some feedback here. We were asking about Beer Garden. He said, we were asking like, does the band play? Yes, the band does play.
Yeah.
Do that, how they do the food, because Beer Garden is a buffet, and apparently the Cardinals are still doing a buffet at the place across the street. It's called Cardinal Nation, so it's a buffet pregame, and they still have it, because I heard it advertised on the radio. So
wow,
I'm signing up. I'm a buffet fan. I'll risk my life for a good buffet. But anyway,
you're vaccinated. You're okay.
I'm taking the vaccination for a ride to the buffet. Okay. Anyway, he says the band does play, and it's family style, so they bring you a selection of foods.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so you're going there, right?
Maybe because I made the reservation for like 3:30 in the afternoon, but I forgot Pam will have already been she'll be in the air back to St. Louis. It's just Mallory and I, and Mallory, she's not a Beer Garden fan.
No, she's not.
I'll get her a pretzel and save $50.
Yes, you're better off with like maybe a Via Napoli with her or something like that.
No, probably with her, I'm trying to think something at Sunshine Seasons, probably. I mean, as bland as you can get, as boring as you can get. That's how it is with that kid. And that's how it was with Paige.
I know, I remember.
Exactly. All right. Kimberly's got a question. Actually, it's Rainia. She's down in Georgia, and she says, hey guys, love listening every chance I get while taking my kids to and from school activities. We have a family trip planned June 28th to July 2nd at Coronado Springs in a preferred room. It'll be my husband, myself, 2 girls, 11 and 5, and it's our 3rd trip. I want to extend our trip and add a day on June 27th and July 3rd. In the past, I've had no issue changing reservations, but I have had no luck due to decreased number of resorts open. Should I keep checking for openings? Is there a time people are more likely to drop a reservation? Thanks, Rainia in Georgia. Okay, so first of all, it sounds like she wants to add a day to the beginning and the end of her stay.
Right.
It's pretty common. Now, let me give you the first travel agent tip. Pam's going to like this because this is kind of our thing here. When you're booking, here I go. Where's my soapbox? Because I'm getting on it. No, this is just practical because I've been burned by this 100 times.
I know.
When you're booking, if you think you might need the days, book the days initially because it doesn't matter on the deposit. It's $200 either way. Like if you're booking 10 days or 3 days, it's $200. So it's easier to pull the days down than to try to go after them, especially in these times.
Yes.
So for people moving forward, book the whole time you think you might go, and then like a couple months out or when you go to make your final payment, bring it into where you need. Okay, so that's like tip number one. Two, here's an option because we've had this come up with a lot of guests. If you can't find Coronado Springs, and this is kind of a hassle, but it's also kind of an adventure, do a one-night room only. Instead of Coronado Springs, check out Caribbean Beach for one night or book a studio at Riviera, splurge one night or, go the opposite direction, stay at movies that night and then upgrade to Coronado. I mean, look at it as an adventure to try out a resort for one night, swim in their pool, have a meal at their food court, and then, go on to your package. That's what I've told a lot of people to do because, that's really the only thing you can do at some point right now.
It is true. And the system isn't really set up to like dump the rooms back into availability at a certain time or anything like that. It's supposed to be really a live system where, the availability is going to be updated to the minute. Think about it. Like if it didn't work that way, you could have a whole group of people rent rooms at the Coronado, but like then they'd be overbooked because the system wasn't live. The system really is live and shows the availability at that point. So I think you can just keep trying for that. The other thing you may want to consider, and this is something that we tend to advocate for, people like, either you like this or you don't, and that's a split stay. See if there's availability for a complete split stay, like 3 nights at one and 3 nights at the other. That may be something that works for you. Of course, you have to get fancy with the tickets, but that's an option for you as well. And just keep trying, try right up to it. There's nothing I like more than, adding days onto my trip. Like in the beginning, I always like with Steve, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to run down for like 4 nights because I want to see this and check this out. He's like, okay, let's go, whatever. And then the next week I'm like, you know what? I think I'd like to stay like another couple nights. Like maybe we'll check out this resort then. He's like, okay, yeah. And then like in another week, I'm like, well, let's add on like a couple nights in the beginning because it's like at the weekend anyways, and we might as well do that. So
okay.
That's the way to have it.
A little add-on-itis. Never hurt.
Yes. It's called Disney math. Like it's like at some point, you add on dates to like save money, right? Like,
well, and you don't know how many emails I get from my guests. The title of the emails, Disney math. I know. Okay, we're doing a little addition here because Disney math typically doesn't involve subtraction or division. It's either multiplication or addition, which is anyway. Okay, so a couple questions. Oh, Diana's got a little feedback, and then I'm going to get to Kate's question here in the live chat. We were talking about renting cars and how dire the situation is with renting cars that in Hawaii, people are renting U-Haul pickup trucks because that's all there is on the island.
Paying 99 cents a mile.
Yeah, and I mean it's dire everywhere. I mean Orlando, there's a shortage, Miami, everywhere. So if you're renting a car, you could struggle. But she says, listening to the podcast, you guys are talking about the car care center at Disney. Just thought I would tell you that we did it last year and set it up before we go. They picked us up at Pop, took us to the car care center. We got our rental car to go to the beach for the day and drove back to the car care center, and they drove us back to Pop. It was great. We plan to do this again this year. Just thought I would share. So under normal circumstances, Diana shares, works out great. But just know that right now, like Ricky said on a show, I think last week, that, I mean, it is true. When the depths of COVID was hitting and everything was locked down, some of these rental car places did start to sell off their fleets. They didn't order new cars. And now with the chip shortage, there's a struggle even just getting production cars going. So in travel, it's like the hockey stick, right? It just went straight up. Can't keep up with demand. So right now, just rental cars just don't count on having one at this point. I mean, if you get one, you're going to pay for those.
It's true. They really are sort of short on that. And the car rental center right there at the car care center there at Disney World is really great about offering you, they do come pick you up. So that's always, something you can inquire about. But it's those offsite locations that aren't really located at the airport that are sort of these auxiliary stations that have the most interesting cars. I will say that one time we picked up a car from National at the port, right after our cruise, and we had reserved like a full size car. And Steve rolls back with a purple Monte Carlo 2-door.
Yes, yes, that was an upgrade, baby.
And it wasn't just purple, it was like sparkly purple. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
this needs a sparkly purple car. Monty, get it for him.
And I was like, when he pulled up, I was like, no. And he's like, literally, this is the biggest car that they have right now. He said, we're going to end up driving to the car care center and switching it out for something else. He's like, but we have to get back to Walt Disney World somehow. So that's what we took, the purple Monte Carlo. Yeah, we kept it for a day or two, and then the car care center found us something else. But a 2-door of all things, right? A 2-door. And those doors were huge.
You got to see that as an opportunity. I would have driven that thing everywhere. I'd have gone to the space, back to the space. No. I'd gone over to Tampa.
No.
I'll roll through down like on Miami on A1A, Beachwood Avenue in my purple Monty. Oh, man. No, God, you guys see that as an opportunity. All right, Kate has a question. Tanya said she paid 3 times the normal car rental price for her.
It's true.
It's even worse right now for that weekend. Okay, yeah. Kate says, I like this. Kidani or Jumbo? We've stayed at both and love both. But curious which one you prefer. I like them both separately for different reasons, which I think that's it. Like, to me, Kidani's quaint. It's a little quieter, but it's also, still have the Savannah. You still have a lot of the same perks. To me, I like the action. I like the Jumbo, the grand feel of it. So if Disney said, we're going to give you a stay either at Jumbo or Kidani, but you got to tell us which one, I would pick Jumbo, just me. But what would you pick?
That's me too. And it's kind of for the same reasons. So when we're staying at a hotel that has a really great lobby, I actually find myself spending a little bit of time there and just enjoying the lobby. And Kidani does have a nice lobby, but there's really something about the one at Jumbo. It's so great. It's so grand. And you smell, the food, you smell that fire. They have sort of a fireplace there inside. The music is fantastic. And I really just enjoy that whole experience. I also like the rooms at Jumbo just a little bit better than the ones at Kidani. I don't even know why. I can't even put my finger on why that is. But for me, that's the experience that I'm looking for most of the time.
Agreed. All right. Jennifer has a question. She says, we have a Disney/Universal trip booked for November. We're going to be at Disney at Art of Animation for 6 days and then Universal at Hard Rock for 3 days. We want to have 2 days at the Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and 1 day at the other Disney parks. So we haven't added an official rest day in our trip. I know we're going to be exhausted, but is this schedule doable? I don't want my family to hate me, but I want to have enough time to do what we want to do in all the parks. Okay, so they're there for 6 days at Disney. They have 2 at Magic Kingdom, 2 at Hollywood Studios, that's 4, and then 1 at Epcot, 1 at Animal Kingdom, so that's 6.
Okay. How
do you work this out? Because you do need it, especially if you're going to go another 3 over at Universal, because even though Universal's smaller, it's still busy. You do need a rest day in 9 days. I mean, there's no doubt about that, in my opinion.
It's true. So here's the good news. When you're over at Universal, you're actually staying at the Hard Rock, which is one of the premier hotels, which means you're going to have the unlimited express pass for your entire stay the day you check in.
Because you're rock stars, right?
That's right.
Backstage, baby. That's what I did the whole time we were there.
That's right.
World.
And for Disney folks who don't know, an express pass is really sort of like a fast pass, only you get to use it again and again and again, and you don't have to schedule it. You just walk on. So on your Universal days, you're going to be able to go to the parks in the morning, do all those awesome things, ride Hagrid's. You're going to see all the Harry Potter things. You're going to ride Velocicoaster.
Wait, did you say Hagrid's?
Hagrid's.
It's Hagrid, right? I mean, yeah, I said Haggard. I mean, is he Haggard?
We're not going to run Haggard.
Wait, let me ask you this. Okay, you mentioned Velocicoaster, which is opening right about now. It's like we're in Velocicoaster season here as we hit.
Yes.
That thing is that it's too much for me. I'm not saying it's too much for everybody, I mean, I'm getting to the point. I still feel like I'm 22, but I think it would knock me out. I mean, it looks awesome, but maybe my
I want to see the video of you riding it.
Yeah, no, it'd be like those videos where the guy gets shot up on the bungee thing and he passes out at the top. He's just, I'd come back and they'd be like, give me me back. There might be too much.
I know it's not going to be too much. Well, and so Jennifer, those days that you're there at Universal during the afternoon, you're going to be able to go back to your hotel, enjoy that pool that has the underwater music, of course. Order some nachos from the pool bar. You can tell them that I sent you because I do it every time I'm there. But that is totally lunch one day. You get this huge plate of nachos. You're going to be able to relax for a while, and then you'll be able to go back in the evening. And the great thing is that Universal has been doing their nighttime show over at Universal Studios. It's called the Cinematic Celebration. They actually have sort of a big viewing area. You sort of are standing. They put little dots on the ground, and each group stands on a dot. You're physically distanced from each other, and you can enjoy the nighttime show, which has water screens and projections on the building and fireworks. It's awesome. You're going to want to check it out. So your days at Universal will sort of help you really relax because you'll have time to come back and do that.
You must get the big shake over at Toothsome's.
Oh my gosh, right? Yes.
Your stomach hurts. I didn't tell you to get it, but I'm telling you, when you're eating it, it's amazing. Oh,
right.
I seriously thought that might be the end of my life that night at Command Bay when I was trying to do some quotes after I ate that big old thing, walking back to the room. Whoo, that was the biggest thing ever. Okay, Don heard the same thing. He thought you said ducks. I thought you said ducks too. I was like, you're standing on ducks. That place is in.
You standing on ducks?
Disney better.
No ducks, I promise.
Okay, one more question here. Tanya's asking, pull out your crystal ball. Do you believe it's a hard no on a Halloween party at Disney? I ask because Universal Studios is in a we may, but wait and see mode for Hollywood Horror Nights.
And they did it last year.
Right. I would say, here's me. And again, Disney does remarkably. I don't have a red phone like to the Kremlin. You know, they don't call me here in the studio. I wish they would. Probably not. I'm too busy. If I had to give odds, I would give it 50-50 at least right now, because I would think I thought they might even be able to pull this off last year in the depth, because it is it's more controlled than a regular park day.
Yes.
Yes. I think it could happen.
I'm gonna go 51.49. They do.
Yes,
I'm gonna prices right you. But yes. No, I feel the same way, Mike. Like, I feel like these after hour parties could be something that they could be doing right now. Like, people would pay to do it.
They're leaving money on the table is what they're doing.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I would pay to do it. Like, even though, I know that people are like, oh my gosh, Disney's only, grabbing for money, but we all know they need the money right now. They've, had some things they need to pay for. Their revenue, I'm sure, is down. I just think it would be an opportunity. And it's not something that everyone has to pay to do, but for people who really are looking for that experience, maybe they'd be able to have a nighttime show. Maybe they'd be able to do something different. I think they are leaving money on the table. I truly do.
You want even a more sinister thought of this? Okay, here's where you want to go deep in the weeds as to how I think.
Yes.
If you know how business works, fiscal first quarter for Disney is October 1st of 21. Okay. So it counts as fiscal 22. And they're always looking at year over to year growth, right?
Yes.
That's how businesses work. So you might not have parties in August and maybe not even September, but what if all of a sudden they just make these all premium parties for the month of October? Because I think what they want to do, if they're really trying to fix the books, which I don't know if they are, but I mean, there's way to massage numbers, right? If you don't have Halloween parties during fiscal 21, and then you add that little bit of extra revenue at October 1st of 20, because you got the 50th going on too, which of course you're not going to have parties, for maybe the first few days because of the demand there. But I mean, that's another thing to think about, that they might want to start, really trying to cook the book starting October 1st not only because of the 50th, because of fiscal 22.
Yeah, that's a great point. It will truly be interesting to see what they're able to do. And gosh, for the holidays too. I mean, we all agree that they're leaving money on the table right here. There's an opportunity for sure.
All right. Dan says, do you feel better about marathon weekend? Marathon weekend, I still don't know. I mean, again, for me, and I've said this with a lot of guests, that there has to be, I think two things have to happen before Run Disney can have an in-person race. We got to have the capacity restrictions lifted and the mask mandates lifted. Like they have to be 100% gone. I know some people say, well, you can have them on start and the finish. That's a nightmare. Like if you've ever been to marathon weekend, it's just a sea of humanity, and we got to be able to get out there. I mean, because the thing is, it's way more intimate contact than a park day on a busy day, because you have sweat, you have tears, you have people coughing and, breathing heavy, next to each other, and just, the water stations and the porta potties. It's under perfect circumstances, it's gross when you actually think about it. And I pay a lot of money to do these things, but if you really break it down, it is. But I mean, right now it's the beginning of May, but the thing is, I know that they have to schedule it. If I was in Run Disney shoes, I would register for Marathon Weekend 22 because they can always refund. But I think that by January, we could have an in-person race with a lot of people. I truly believe that. I think it could happen, but I wouldn't give it better than 50-50 still at this point. I hate to say that because that's my favorite weekend of the year and I missed it last year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. I think the races are challenging for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think they're successful for Disney to do because there are so many people and there's so much support and infrastructure needed to really support those races to make them a revenue generating opportunity instead of, a money loss. When you think about, first of all, Bob's Barriers, how much they're paying Bob's Barriers.
For real. Yeah, no, I've wondered that because when you run 26 miles, you think about a lot of stuff. I'm like,
right.
See if I keep track of like if they lose one of these, because there's got to be 98,000 cones. Like, of course.
Exactly. So just that alone, but just the manpower that's needed to give water, for snacks, for the supports they need in terms of ambulances, and having all that available is a lot. So there's a lot that goes into the races. And the other thing that makes it challenging is all the health concerns that you brought up, Mike, that just from the very beginning, they had identified maybe like breathing heavy as a COVID sort of exposure kind of thing to look for in that space. So I think that will be a challenge. I think really, let's be honest, as we move forward, we're going to need the CDC and our government to say this kind of behavior is okay, because until that happens, then the company's looking at it from a liability standpoint. They'll be like, we all know that we can do this, but until the CDC says it's okay, then as a company, I really don't want to take that risk on, because that's not something we can afford to pay for if someone decides to come and sue us later. Even though we're all signing waivers and knowing what's going on, that there's a litigious society out there. So unfortunately, that helps dictate some of these things.
Yeah. Just the other day, like those memories come up like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I get all, this was like a couple weeks ago. It was like Star Wars race weekend from a few years back. And I always take a picture in the corrals before the race starts, because in a Run Disney race, if you just take a selfie of yourself, you can't, like, there's a sea of humanity behiund you. You cannot see the end of the people, and you're just jammed in there like cattle. Like, I mean, I didn't give it a second thought ever, like until I saw, but I looked at it, I was like, what was I doing? I'm like risking my life standing in a crowd, but we'll get past it and it'll be fine. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, honestly, when we run a Run Disney race, I know that we're almost there. Like, that's going to be
right. Yes.
Because
that's as close as you can get to people you aren't related to.
Seriously, dude, too close. Some people, I'm sure I don't smell like roses either when I'm running 26 miles. Some people are like, oh man, can I get a little cologne? And shout out to the monkey man, Jonathan Ramirez, my biggest Dodgers fan out there and up in Canada, making his baked goods, which are incredible. Have you seen his stuff? Did you follow him on Facebook?
Yes.
He was on the Food Network and all that stuff, man.
It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Wade compares Run Disney to planning a wedding. Lots of long-term coordination.
Truth. Very, very true. Yeah. And twice the liability, Wade.
You always want the chipper chicken.
The chipper chicken. Of course you do.
Both ways, you get the chipper chicken. Anyway, We got to call this off. All right, we're out of here. We're getting out of here. If you have questions, send those to mike@beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get to those on the next show. Don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all of your Disney travel needs, whether it's Adventures by Disney, even Disney Cruise Line. Those ships are going to be out there sooner rather than later. The Wish, got some news about the Wish. How about that? Yeah, it's beautiful. And don't forget, of course, Disneyland, guests back in Disneyland now, and Walt Disney World. Things are looking, think about how far we've come in 365 days.
Yeah.
It seems like it's taken forever. No, I mean, hey, we're in a lot better place than we were 365 days ago. You need to get out there and have fun. You miss these things. Get out there, have a good time. So check out the Magic for Less. We'll take great care of you. I promise you. TheMagicForLess.com. Also, our Amazon affiliate link. It's a free way to support the show. Very simple. Click through one extra link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And if you'd like some extra content like Mike in the Midwest, and Pam and I are talking about doing an 80s music trivia against each other for an episode. And that will be fun. We are going to get it done. Go over to patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You'll get all the information over there. Give us a follow on the social media, Instagram and Twitter @beourguestmike and @beourguestpod, Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to the show. You get an alert every time we go live. All right. Oh, also this Sunday night, we're back with another you, me, and Scotty G, otherwise known as the BOGP open line, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. You can call in and we can talk about all the Disney news of the week. All right. Time to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday where Ricky joins me and we'll be talking about, we'll figure it out. You got to tune in to find out because I haven't talked to Ricky yet. All right. So for Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. That was fun. What we got here? Did you watch the greeting to the cast? I did not see that on the Disney Parks blog last night because I was watching a wonderful baseball game that Wainwright pitched that we did not win. Oh. But I will go back and see it.
I'm so glad to see Disneyland opening up, though. It's just really, really exciting.
It is. Yeah, because I saw the cast members in there today.
I know. They've got to be thrilled.
So good. Oh, wait. I just made a chocolate cake with tres leche. See, I don't know how to say this stuff. I sound like
tres leche. Yes, I saw that. Like, coconut. I'm dying. That sounds so good. Although my favorite cake will always be almond with a raspberry filling. Boom.
But I mean, the thing is, like, Jonathan makes these things, and like, I mean, say like, for example, when we got married, Pam got me a groom's cake that looked exactly like my Jeep Wrangler, but he makes them, and this thing looked good. But the things Jonathan makes are like, I mean, I'd want to eat them, but I'd be scared to cut into them. They're that cool looking. I guess you take a lot of pictures and then you just eat it. But, oh, so cool, so cool. All right, well, hey, I'm gonna get out of here so I can get some work done.
Bye, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Yep, it is Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday. All right, see you guys.